If you're here for fictional drama, book boyfriends, and zero pressure to take notes, you're in the right place. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Emily, and this is the Book Bits Club. Today, we are going to be doing a Q&A, get a little bit more info on who we are as readers and who we are as people.
Okay.
Hopefully get us some more followers, maybe get us less.
Definitely less.
But you're here for the ride no matter what. So I'm going to kick us off, Cass, okay?
All right.
I want to know, what is the first book you ever read, not with your eyeballs, but the one that came and like gave you your love for reading? That was like, that is the book that made me read 1,000 books.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I know your answer.
Do you? I don't know.
I don't know my own answer.
The first, oh man. So actually I don't think you know my answer.
Okay.
I think that the first book actually it wasn't even necessarily because of the book. It was because of the experience around the book. So it was the book Frindle that I had to read in second grade. And
is Frindle niche to our public school system?
Frindle might be niche to our public system, so I'll explain what this book is. So basically, this book is about this child who is just like Dennis the Menace. And honestly, I identified as Dennis the Menace in second grade also.
So accurate.
And so I felt a kinship to this child. And he decides that he is going to come up with a new word for pen. And that word is frindle. And he's literally just doing it to like mess with his English teacher. He's like, let me get a rise out of this English teacher. I'm going to spread the word that everyone's calling the word pen frindle from now on.
I don't know why they let us all read this, because we were all after that, like, we're going to take down the world.
I'm like, do you want us to all become just chaos monkeys? Like, I don't understand.
Merriam-Webster, you?
Yeah, correct. And so literally by the end of the book, I don't know if this is a spoiler because I don't think anyone will read this book, but by the end of the book, he ends up getting the word frindle into the dictionary. And so it like becomes this just like beautiful evolution of like his relationship with his English teacher. And by the end, the English teacher like writes him a note like with the dictionary and whatever. It's just like very like beautiful at the end. And so we're reading this in second grade, and I am flying through this book because at this point I'm like, I love reading, but this book just like gripped me in a different way. And my teacher was also obsessed with it. Like she would like read it to a couple of chapters to us aloud in class. And we get to the end and she openly admits that she can't read the ending because it makes her too emotional. And so she's like, I need one of you to read the ending for me. And she ends up picking me to read at the end in front of the entire class.
Oh,
and
so is this a humble brag?
A little bit. So I sit there and I read this book to the entire class while my teacher is quite literally sobbing in the background. Like she's sitting in a chair beside herself. And I was like, this is the power of reading. Like this is the power of just such a good story of such incredible characters that make you feel seen, make you feel known. And I think after that, and after I saw my teacher just absolutely have a mental breakdown over this book, I was like, this is what this is all about.
I also
and I think
want
after
to have
that,
a mental breakdown while reading.
Correct. So I think after that, I was like, I can't stop doing this. And I don't think that I ever did.
Honestly, Cass, I think that story's going to bring Frindle back to the shelves. I think all of our 20 listeners are about to request a Frindle read-along.
All of our 4.5 listeners, including my dog Zuni next to me, will be reading Frindle after this.
You know, my answer is a little bit more basic and is actually what I expected you to say also.
I'm ready.
And
I know. I thought you thought you had me in your little web there.
And I was like, oh my God, me too. And I think this is relatable to a lot of people. Harry Potter.
Duh.
I am a huge fantasy gal. I'm sorry. Like, I am like 98% fantasy, 2% what other people force me to read to be part of the public system. And
part of the public discourse.
My siblings are all older, and my brother was reading Harry Potter when he was in like, you know, like 5th, 6th grade, 7th. And he was like, this is age appropriate. And I was like, okay, I'm 8 and I'd also like to read this book. And so I started ripping through these Harry Potters at a young age and never turned back. When I entered Hogwarts, I was like, I don't need my real life anymore. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. I need to go see Hagrid.
That's right. I need to go down to Hagrid's house and hang out.
100%.
Under my invisibility cloak. See you later.
And, you know, maybe one could argue that I needed therapy as a child. But I never went because I had books. And Harry Potter was literally the start of that. I could survive any adversity with Harry in my corner.
I mean, Harry was literally scoring 100 points for Gryffindor left and right just based off of his traumas.
After being stuck in a closet. Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to tell you all, if you're in a tough situation in life, go back and read Sorcerer's Stone. Philosopher's Stone, if you're listening from the UK.
For UK fans, that was terrible. That was bad.
Cut it.
No, I cut it out. I couldn't. I mean, that series is just. I mean, still to this day, I can't remember the last reread I did. Probably like 5 years ago of Prisoner of Azkaban, and it's just it still holds up. It still brings back that like magic, that feeling where you're just like, oh my God, like I am in this world. These people are my best friends. I'm in it with them.
What's crazy now that you bring up Prisoners of Azkaban is that was my least favorite book of the whole series because you have to think of how young I was, Cass. Okay, so I'm like, I want Sorcerer's Stone. I want the Goblet of Fire. Like, I want anything that seems so fantastical. But then when we were adults, Cass was like, Prisoner of Azkaban is the best book. And I was like, no shot.
Hands down.
And so,
hands down. I felt that way when we were kids too, though. Maybe I just liked the family trauma that Harry was going through. Like, he got serious and then he lost him. And I was like, oh.
And I was going to say, I went back and reread as an adult, but I didn't because I do not reread books. But I watched the movie again and I was like, oh my God, the relationship with Sirius is a deep cut.
Yes, it is. It is. Cut. I think it literally they just grabbed me by the heart. And they've never let go. No, that series is just one of one, truly. And still.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Rebecca Yarros claims it's now one of two.
Maybe.
But Harry was barely getting a kiss by book 5, so I don't think
Rebecca,
we can compare.
Give us a Triwizard Tournament and we'll frickin' talk, okay? Okay, so I would like to understand a little bit about your rating system when you read books. So how do you rate a book after you've read it? Would you say you rate it like numerically, like 1 to 5, 1 out of 10? Like are you giving it stars? What are you doing when you're reading a book?
If you guys,
and how do you decide?
I'm like literally ripping my fingernail off because I'm so afraid to say this out loud. If you all listen to our intro video, I do not keep a Goodreads, okay? I do not have a Goodreads. It has like 3 books on it that one day I decided to attempt to add, and honestly, it was too difficult. And so I don't keep a Goodreads. I don't keep a rating system. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at, that book was good. That book was amazing, and I did not finish that book. It's low. It's raw. That's what you get from me. I'm 0 or 5.
So you will DNF a book. Is that right?
Oh, yes. Okay. I have to tell you something. I've been thinking about this a lot. There are so many books out right now. Like, do you remember this many books being released in a year, like 10 years ago? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I also don't think we were as exposed to it. You know, it's like we see all of this on social media now in a way that like we would have had to get from being like Barnes and Noble's newsletter subscribers before.
Maybe,
you know?
but I don't think people were like self-publishing back then. And now it's like these
That's true.
self-published books are like top tier. And
Yeah.
your TBR is probably the length of a marathon at this point. And so
It is.
if you are honestly, I'm going to give a book 15 chapters in and you aren't grabbed into that world, if you are not immersed, toss it to the side.
Toss it. I do agree. I think that we don't have enough time. We don't have enough years. We don't have enough minutes.
Yeah.
Like that time is precious. And I agree. There's just so much out there to get into that it's hard to just like stick through a book the entire time. But I have been pleasantly surprised on occasion when I have, and then I've loved the ending.
The authors really do have a tough job. Like they have to grab your attention from the beginning.
Yeah. Immediate, which also, side question, are you a slow burn gal or are you right into the action?
Oh, I'm right into the action. I need to know chapter 1, what's hitting. I'm not kidding, guys. Like, I literally need to be in the middle of a battle, chapter 1.
Instant gratification.
I need
someone's dying. Chapter 1.
So I don't know if this is a hot take, but I want like immediate gratification in the beginning and at the end. Like I need it to be speed. But I will read a slow middle.
Oh, interesting. See, I'm the opposite. I am totally fine with a slow beginning. Like I am totally fine when clearly the author is like really taking their time building up the character's story, building up the world, whatever. But the middle has to go fast for me. And I don't know why.
I'm the opposite.
If I'm in a slow middle, I'm like, I can't pick up this book again.
So this is what I think about the slow middle. So I'm like, I want to be thrown into the action at the beginning. Who's that person? Who's that person? Have they hooked up before? What world are we in? Are we on water or are we on land? But then, like, the middle, I'm okay with them, like...
Waterland.
I'm okay with them, like, backtracking to explain all of the chaos in the beginning. But then I want it to be chaos at the end, too.
That's fair. Yeah, I definitely need chaos at the end, for sure. But I just think that at the beginning, I'm like, take your time explaining things to me, because as long as I have that in my head, like, you'll keep me through the book. But if I don't have that, I'm going to be like, oh my God.
Okay, and I think that's why I loved Onyx Storm. And for your first read, you were like unsure. Because I was like, oh my God, we're here. We're in the middle of it. And then she went through all those islands to back explain everything, which everybody thought was too much. And I was like, give it to me, Rebecca. Give me the world building. I'm here for it.
I think it was like either too much or too little. Like for me, I was like, give me more of the islands or give me less. You know, it's like, I want more time on Unreal with that like crazy ass queen. Like
she's coming back. She was like Brienne of Tarth.
She was Brienne of Tarth. That is so fucking spot on. Holy shit.
She's coming back.
Oh my God. A perfect girl. Yeah, she's for sure coming back. But it's like, I either wanted that or I was like, cut some of us out because I can't. But I did love the Quest Squad. Yeah. They were so great.
So what is your rating system, Cass? Because obviously we read differently.
I'm a little too scientific with my rating. I definitely will go down to like percentage points. Like I will give, which sucks because on Goodreads it's like literally just 5 stars, but I will in my brain be like, that was easily a 3.2.
Yeah.
Like, or I'll literally go back and re-rate other books after I've read certain books that are like similar, that are better or worse. And so, yeah, I'm a psycho. Yeah. Basically.
Really popular book that happened to us on. Everybody was reading Midnight Library. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, oh, yeah, this book is cool. Like, never read anything like this before. But then Dark Matter by Blake Crouch came out. And we were like, this is a top tier Midnight Library. I think we went back and we were like 0 stars, Midnight Library.
I think that dark matter literally rewired my fucking brain chemistry. Like the second that Jason 42 came out, I was like, there can't be another.
The imagery in that book was so intense, guys. I couldn't look in certain rooms of my house for a while.
Jason 2 in the corner.
And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so Midnight Library like took us on these different like time, what do you call those?
It was like, it's like basically this whole concept of like being able to, like the Schrodinger's cat, the whatever thing, where it's like you are constantly wanting to like live these other lives and like go to these other universes.
Yeah,
and
like
whatever,
you exist on different planes.
But when you actually do, you realize that the life that you're currently living is actually much better. And
Right.
like that was basically the premise of both of those books. But Dark Matter just did it so well.
You go back and you read Midnight Library after Dark Matter and you're like, that was children's play.
Yeah, literally, welcome to the big leagues.
Okay, but I'm going to have to shout out. Actually, this is like a non-shout out. Do not watch Dark Matter on Apple TV. That show was not it, guys.
Which sucks because the cast was so good.
You have to read the book.
Yeah, the book is fucking so good.
But you do score things like so accurately. I'm like barely doing 0.5s and Cassie's like 0.007. And this leads me to my next question. How quick is your reading speed, would you say?
Oh God. Are we talking about like audiobook / podcast speeds, like 1.2?
No, I want times, like hours.
Oh God. I would say that I can finish a sizable book if I'm really into it in like 72 hours.
Guys, less. She's crazy. You don't want to read a book with Cassie.
You don't.
Actually, the BBC...
Just leave this podcast. You don't want to read with
me.
me.
The BBC shut down. You do not want to read a book with Cassie. Okay, I have tandem read books with Cassie before, and she's actually really, really good because she can like act like
we're changing our opinion.
I'm changing my opinion. She can
we're pivoting.
Act like she hasn't read the book yet, like the parts you've already read, which I can't do. Like if I'm ahead of Cassie by some miracle, probably because she was busy running her corporate job, I can't act like I haven't read it. I'm like, sorry, I can't say anything. Sorry, can't cover.
She will literally not divulge like one detail. She's like, I can't fully tell where you're at, so I can't say anything unless you want me to give things away.
But Cassie,
which honestly, which is good because when I was reading Throne of Glass, I'm like, who is this Selena character? When I'm hearing about Aelin all the time, like I don't understand what's going on. And Emily literally cannot figure out who the fuck Selena is. She's like, who are you talking about? You're literally reading about Aelin. You're reading, you mean Aelin?
Yeah,
like,
you mean Aelin? I was like, I think you're not pronouncing her name right. I was like, can you spell it out? Are you sure you're reading the same book we're talking about?
And then it literally took me looking it up on the internet to find out that Selena becomes fucking Aelin. I was like, oh.
And I told her book one. Okay, Cass. I want to get a little bit deeper into like who we are as book character people. So, question for you. And it doesn't, I feel like we tend to lean romantasy, but it doesn't have to be romantasy, okay?
Okay.
Who would you be if you were any female main character?
Oh, any female main character.
And I really have something in my head for you, so if you don't choose appropriately, we're dissolving this partnership.
The leading questions to me fully breaking what she thinks that I'm going to answer. Okay, any genre.
Yeah.
I think that I have to still go with Aelin. Like I have to answer Aelin. Like she is everything from your like classic, like your gothic, beautiful novels, your romance novels, like all of those things. But then she also has the flavor, like all of those things, meaning like she's independent, she's unbelievably fucking smart, like she's witty, she like doesn't take shit from men.
She's
like
killing people.
She's killing people.
That is a deep desire.
And I think like the aspect of like these female main characters in romantasy that I'm also drawn to is just this like other level of like physical, like exceeding physical expectations, where they're like literally like, I fucking see this like cavalry of military men running around the fucking whatever track, like I'm gonna run with them until I fucking barf, and like that's what it's gonna be.
You
and
are
it's like
an Aelin stan, I will give you that.
That like mental toughness of just being like, no matter what, I'm gonna like get up, I'm gonna train, I'm gonna learn how to use this dagger, I'm literally gonna learn how to fucking take down a dude that's 40 times my size. Like that is something that I think just continues to bring me back to her, where I'm like, she's just such a fucking badass.
Okay,
you know?
I really thought you were gonna go Jo March. I thought you were gonna say Jo March.
I love Jo. If everyone will always be like, are you Jo? Are you Beth? Are you Amy? Are you Meg? And every time I'm fucking delusional, I'm like, I'm Jo. There is no doubt in my mind that I am Jo. But, and also like, if you were to ask me about Elizabeth Bennet, it's like, I fully identify with her. But I truly think with Aelin, it's just like, there's just this extra level of like, I don't give a fuck. I am who I am. You all will accept it. And that's that. And I love that. I ate that up.
We love a woman that overcomes little adversity. And by a little I mean she was imprisoned for a few years.
Just a few working as a fucking slave in a goddamn mine. No big deal.
Just a little adversity.
Okay. Just a tiny bit. Who is yours? I already know who yours is.
Why
actually,
am I so easy to read? Guys, this is actually why you should be my friend, because there will never be any surprises.
Okay, something else you guys will learn about us is that we've known each other for way too long.
Way too long.
The level of actual telepathy that we have between us at this point is criminal.
And we're talking about like childhood friends. And
correct.
It's not just me and Cass. You would think it's just me and Cass, but there's actually 6 more of us out in the universe. And they are going to be very embarrassed when they see this online. Shout out Spurs. But back to the question at hand.
All right. Tell us all who we know that you are.
Okay, my female main character is 100% Manon Blackbeak. Get me on the back of a Braxos. Get me those fingernails that are 3 inches long. I will claw a man's eyes out. I love that bitch. Like, and you know what? She is a bitch, and that's what is part of the draw. Like, she's a bitch and she stands in her truth. She will die for her family and friends. She's loyal to a actual fault. And she also has the best emotional character arc in a romantasy series that I've seen in a while. Like, the Manon you meet at the beginning to the Manon at the end, I could shed a tear right now.
She literally like learns how to accept that she has feelings, and not only accept it, but like love that about herself, and like love that she has vulnerability, and like love that about herself and her friends. And like, that was so fucking cool to see. Yeah.
She is that girl for me.
She is that girl. Okay. Also, I would have fully said that you were going to say that you were Elizabeth Bennet.
Okay. I actually almost did. But then you said you were also Elizabeth Bennet, and I'm like, this don't match.
Okay, you're the side of Elizabeth Bennet that's like, okay, I'm actually ready to marry this fucking rich, hot dude. Get me in there.
But why I'm the Elizabeth Bennet is different than yours. Like, I do love a bit of independence. Like, I like to be the woman in the relationship that is running things. But at the same time, I love a little bit of a man that brings home the bacon. So if I could have like
Extra crispy.
Elizabeth's like intelligence and independence, and then also happen to fall upon a duke that's neighboring me and happens to be single, I'd take it.
I mean, we're not shutting it down. No one's shutting it down, to be clear.
Because I would say I was the sister that ends up with Binkley. What is even her name?
Oh,
I've read the book 3 times, and she's a little bit of a wash for me, and that's why I can't say that she's me.
Isn't she, I only remember her, like, actress name.
I know. Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
I know.
But I can't.
But
Jane. No, not Jane.
Jane. Yes, it's Jane.
Is it? I
think it is.
Someone fact
Somebody
check us,
fact check
for the love of God.
I can't say I'm her because she's too weak. Like she can't.
She is.
She can't stand up for what's right, and that kills me.
Well, she just couldn't like show her emotions outwardly.
Yeah.
Like she was like too like focused on being like prim, proper, put together, or whatever. And like that's not
like
you.
When she got a cold from the rain and like couldn't get out of bed for 5 days, I was like, okay, get it together. I'll give you 24, 36 hours, but like we've got shit to do. Women run this world.
She's like, oh, what was me? I rode out in the rain for literally 5 minutes and now I can't leave bed.
So I was going to say Elizabeth Bennet, but I couldn't because you did.
Okay, so us talking about Mr. Darcy and this beautiful Duke who's bringing home your bacon makes me wonder what fictional man would be your real life hall pass?
My hall pass? Is that like who my book boyfriend is?
No, it's different. Let me clarify. So your book boyfriend is the man that you are thinking about at 3 a.m. If he showed up at your door, you're riding off in the sunset with him. You are literally comparing everything that he is to everything that your real life men are not.
He's marriage material.
Sure. Even more than that. Even more.
Oh, soulmates. He's soulmates.
Mates. Your hall pass is the person that, like, if you showed up, you have, like, your one night together and you're like, that was so great. I love him, whatever. But I'm, like, going back to my life. Like, I'm going back to reality and I'm good. I had that experience. We're set.
Okay. I actually know who mine is. And this has been long-standing. This has been since I was probably, oh my gosh, I have to think back. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it. This was probably like 13 years old.
Wow. Okay. I have no idea who this is about to be.
Romeo. When I first met, what is his last name? He's not just a Romeo, is he?
No, it's like the Capulets.
Yeah,
and
the Montagues.
The Montagues.
But which one is he?
Is he the Montague? Maybe he's Montague.
So Romeo. And I'm not just talking because a young Leonardo DiCaprio was playing this man.
Sure.
He is the perfect one night stand because he's trouble. He is trouble, that man. But he's also the one that's like, climbing your balcony, writing you poetry, and he's making you feel like you're the only woman to exist in this world. But then as soon as you meet any of his male relatives, you're like, I've got to get out of here.
Get me out of here.
But the passion, I mean, I'm crossing my legs under this blanket because I'm getting a little worked up. The passion that Romeo would bring to that one dark night is something else. It's dark. Like these things can
it's pouring rain.
Yeah, these things can only happen in the cover of night because that is what he's bringing to the table. He's a grade A bad boy.
Oh, that's really good. That's a really good one.
What would yours be?
Oh, wow. Now I'm rethinking my entire answer.
Because
Why? Tell me.
Because it's the truth.
I was very, very torn between Dorian from Throne of Glass and Asriel from ACOTAR. And I think I was torn between them because they both have very similar traits of like
Right.
mystery, and there's a lot of intrigue there.
Shadows.
And shadows. You know that they have some like underlying just like freaky side where you're like, oh, I need to see that, but I only need to see it for a night.
The quiet ones.
It's always the quiet ones. It's always the ones that are saying literally 10 words per chapter.
You know what? Dorian.
And that's it.
This goes with my Manon storyline too. Dorian, you know, he was Prince Charming. Oh, he's so sweet. Like, you're like, I get it, Aelin. I know why you didn't choose him after like 5 chapters. Like, he's just like exactly who he's supposed to be. And then when things start turning dark, you're like, tickle me with those icicle fingertips. Why don't you?
When he is throwing out, I will bleed whatever color you want me to. I'm like,
When he's asking Manon to keep things spicy.
Yeah. So I think that I'm leaning his direction because also, spoiler for the end of Kingdom of Ash, when him and who go their separate ways, and he is like, I know that you cannot be tied down by a man. Like, I know that you won't be happy if you come back to my kingdom with me. Like, I just know these things. So I'm going to let you be free. Live, Manon, live. Like, that vibe, I think, is perfect for a hall pass because it's like, okay, we had our fun. Let's go our separate ways.
Dorian
and we'll never remember each other fondly.
Right. Dorian would never ask for your phone number.
Never.
But
He'd
he
be like,
will remember what happened that night.
He will never forget.
And I see what you mean by Asriel being similar, but
yeah, I just don't know enough about him.
I know. Sarah, get us the book. Why don't
you? Literally, help.
Is he a hall pass or is he a husband?
Answer it.
That's the only reason we need a next book.
That's the only reason. There's no other reason.
I have a feeling once we get to know a little bit more about Asriel, he's going to be a husband.
Yeah, I would agree. Which also, like, I think that Dorian is husband material in his own way, but I just have other book boyfriends that are so far ahead of him that, like, that's just,
Dorian would have to go to at least 10 years of therapy before he could be a solid husband. That man's got some trauma to work through.
If there were ever a book about Dorian and Manon, half of it would be them going to their own separate therapy.
And that, what I think makes a good hall pass is the trauma that makes them want to perform.
That's true. To perform.
Like,
to show
Romeo and Dorian do believe in a little role play.
True. They believe in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of things that we have yet to discover. So, 100%. Yeah, those are... Romeo was a good one. I like that answer.
Okay.
That was good. Good work.
Thank you. This kind of leads me into my next question because, like I said, I was 13. It was inappropriate what I was thinking about Leonardo DiCaprio at the time. What would you say was your, like, sexual awakening?
Oh, God.
I'm talking like what movie, what book, what TV character hit you hard?
Okay, so there have been many, honestly. Like, if we're talking about, like, basically, like, 7 years old, 6 years old through, like, 14. Like,
7 or 6 for your sexual awakening?
I mean, okay, so you're telling me that you weren't watching Hercules being like, oh, who is that? They make men like that? Is that what adulthood is? Excuse me?
I actually was.
Does every man on the planet have pecs the size of my head?
Disney was actually doing something to the youth of the 90s.
Disney knew what they were doing.
The man from Mulan was shirtless the entire movie.
Yeah, and that was the originator of the sweaty sparring because literally they're all fighting to like make sure that they're ready for the Huns to come. And like, of course, he's just the only one that's like fully cut and like fully like ready to train everyone.
Make a man out of me. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
You know what? I will give you that. I think I saw Hercules for like my 7th birthday, and I did leave that theater thinking, I wonder if I want to be Megra, but I think it was because I wanted to know what it was like to be with Hercules.
I had more questions than answers after I watched that movie. So there you go.
Okay.
That I think was my first wave. And then my second wave was definitely like when we were like 10 watching like Tuck Everlasting. And it's like the guy who's like 400 years old, but he looks like he's like 15 and he has like the flowy, like beautiful shirt. And like
he was like the OG Faye.
Yeah, he was the OG. Like he is literally centuries old, and this girl is literally 12. And then my last one, which really solidified it, was of course Edward Cullen.
Oh,
because he was also the OG like broody male main character, where he was vampire. He's otherworldly. He's beautiful. He's the most beautiful man on the planet.
He was the first vampire where you were like, I think I want to be bitten.
Yeah, like, hello.
We get it,
I'm
Bella.
waiting.
We understand.
We get why Bella was desperate for that for literally 3 books straight.
Oh
we
my
understand.
God. Except I was a little bit team Jacob.
That's fair.
Also was fair. Those muscles, and when you turn into that wolf. I had to pause because this was sounding a little animalistic.
When you're turning into that wolf out of your jorts.
And you have that tawny brown skin.
Oh, yeah.
And
we love a tawny brown skin. You don't own clothes. You haven't worn a shirt in years.
That did something a little bit more for me than when Edward was like sparkling in the sunshine.
I mean, when Edward is coming out of that Volvo in his Ray-Bans, I'm like, my underwear evaporated, and that's it.
And he stops the Volvo with one hand, catches Bella with the other.
Excuse me, that was the van. And for those who are listening, I just shot my arm out of just a van that was not there.
But also, those Ray-Bans did do something to the youths.
Yeah, they did. I did literally immediately go demand to my parents that I needed to go buy Wayfarer Ray-Bans, and they looked absolutely horrific on me. I look back at pictures, and I'm like, those sunglasses were literally 3 times the size of your face.
Ray-Bans, send us a pair of Wayfarers, and we'll wear them on this podcast.
I thought I was so cool. I'm like literally like smiling in a specific way every time I'm in them. I'm like, I am Robert Pattinson. No one will stop me.
Ray-Bans sponsor us now.
Sponsor us. Okay, now I need to know who yours is.
Okay, a little background. Cassie knows this, of course, but my family is extremely close and extremely loose with our morals, okay? And coming from a family of older siblings, this
is not how I would describe her family, by the way.
I really grew up fast. Like, my brother that's 11 years older than me had me watching Real World in 1st grade. Like, so sexual awakenings were peaking high.
Yes.
And so I remember this so specifically because I carried my dad along with me on this train. I was like, I saw Orlando Bloom when he was popular in Pirates of the Caribbean as Will Turner, and then him as Legolas with that wig and those ears. And I was like, Dad, take me to the little kiosk in the middle of the mall where they sell the calendars. I need an Orlando Bloom one stats. And he did. He rushed me to the mall. And I was on the bottom bunk with my sister above me. And I had that calendar right by my face. Like, I am telling you, I was looking at it at all times of night.
All times. Gotta sleep with one eye open on Orlando.
Again, I want everybody to now think back about when they saw Legolas jumping around those rocks with his Fae swiftness, and think to yourself, was he your original Fae love?
I think he was. If it wasn't Tuck Everlasting, it was definitely Legolas.
If it wasn't Peter Pan from 1936, it was definitely Legolas. But also, I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a Lord of the Rings fan. So
I'm a Lord of the Rings fan.
Lord of the Rings fan. And because I'm on such a high right now, I can't remember anyone's names. But the man that was just like the rider that was on horseback, and he was so sweaty the entire time.
Was it Viggo Mortensen?
Viggo Mortensen! But what was his name?
I always forget. This is not something that I can even pull back. I don't even know, but I do remember Viggo.
I literally might have to force a producer's cut on this because I'm so embarrassed I don't remember his name. And I said I am a Lord of the Rings fan. But he was so dirty that whole book.
He was.
It was so good. And the way he was in love with that elf maiden.
Oh, yeah. Literally, I remember Viggo so well because my mom was obsessed with him. Like, literally, that was like her OG, like, fictional boyfriend.
Oh,
She's like, take me at any time, Viggo.
We are going to actually bring our mothers on for another podcast because they actually were thirsty for a man back in the day.
I would watch my mom just whip out her Nora Roberts books with the men that literally had like a torn shirt. The woman, like the top of her blouse was torn. Her bosoms are coming out, and the guy's like holding her like this, and she's like about to faint. It's like that is so burned into my memory, and I'm like, our moms need to have a discussion about it on some sort of platform.
When we were napping, our mothers were in another world. They said they were folding the laundry. I think not.
They were not. They were reading Nora. They were reading about men like Fabio.
Yes.
On a horse. And that was it.
And they were riding side saddle.
Yes. Oh, duh. On a beach. In the foreground.
You also, you know who my like adult re-sexual awakening was?
Who?
Anthony from Bridgerton.
Oh my God. I mean, come on. Jonathan Bailey is actually one of those men where I'm like, he is everyone's dream. Like everyone.
The drool,
male,
I was
female,
drooling.
Whatever. The drool that was drooled.
My boyfriend was like, okay, I don't need to watch this show with you. Like, I get the concept, whatever. And the way that I hunted him down in my home after I saw Anthony in that series, he was like, I mean, whatever you watched, keep watching.
Keep watching it. Keep watching that man with sideburns that literally go down to his toes. Keep watching.
And I was like, I guess my boyfriend will do because I can't have Anthony in real life because he swings for the other team. And that was a stab to the heart.
So it goes. What was us? That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so along these lines, I need to know, in a book, what is the biggest gasp you have ever gasped?
I actually immediately knew my answer to this, and
immediately
for the 10 people watching this Q&A, if
the number fluctuates by the minute.
If you would like to know more about this story, I actually have it on video because I was gasping so deeply that I had to send it to Cassie. I am telling you, my jaw was unhinged to my chest. I was bright red, the color of a strawberry. I could not believe what was happening to me. And I think you're all going to agree.
Let it out.
I don't know.
Let it out.
I don't know. Like, I'm literally stuttering because I'm still getting so embarrassed by this. You've all listened to an audiobook romantasy novel, okay?
Of course.
The sounds that these narrator voice actors are doing, they deserve a larger paycheck because the death that I would die if I had to do that in a recording studio is so deep. And so I am innocently listening to the audiobook of Cass, what is the one with Niktos in it?
Shadow in the Ember.
Shadow in the Ember. Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm sorry I forgot the name of your story. They all sound a little similar. Nikdos and Sarah. Am I getting this right?
Yes, you are.
Nikdos and Sarah. I do not know, Jennifer, why you made that man a virgin. I don't know why you made that 600-year-old man a virgin, but it did us listeners dirty. When they have sexual relations for the first time, and Sarah is coming into the room and she's like predatorily crawling on the bed, and then he knows how to do things I have not ever quite heard with these ears before. I could not believe what was going on and that he was a virgin. I think we come to learn that he's a born-again virgin, so it makes a little more sense later. But at this time, I didn't know that. And I'm like, that man has been fantasizing about what this day was going to look like for a long time, and he just led us into the deepest crevices of his diary.
He has been reading too much Nora Roberts.
Him and our mothers have met. And that's literally took my breath away. And like I said, I have live footage of this because I was almost sick to my stomach.
She's literally in her car.
Jennifer,
please, the woman that you are.
I think you're a wonderful writer, but do not give us another virgin again.
Oh, JLA, we love you.
What was yours, do you think?
Okay, I have two. Which I truly don't know which gasp was gusped more between the two of these things.
Oh my God.
Both of them are SJM books. The first one was when I was reading Akatar, and Feyre and Rhys are under the mountain, and Feyre's like crying because she's obviously trapped. She has to fucking fight a worm. She's fighting fucking Amarantha. She's fucking crying. She's getting drunk on fairy wine so that she could just forget all the things that are happening. And Rhys is like sitting there talking to her, and he just licks her tears off of her face. I remember reading that and being like, what?
You know what's so messed up?
Why was that necessary? Why, Sarah? Please explain why it had to happen in that way. Like, why couldn't he just have used his little thumb? I don't get it.
I was not as phased at that time because of the other things that you listed were happening around the same scenario. And
I mean, yeah. That's why it was so shocking.
I was like, do you remember? Okay, Cass, this is where you admit to the world that you were never a Tamlin fan and you might be in the greater 1%.
And since day one, I hated Tamlin. Since day one, I also loved Rhysand. The second that they were like, he showed up and he's the most beautiful, scary man that I've ever seen. I was like, sold.
This is so true.
I'm out.
And again, I read these books before her and I could not believe she didn't hop on the Tamlin train. I was like, I literally was ready to be transported into Tamlin's arms in the Spring Court. I was like, this is my Beauty and the Beast fantasy and he is my beast.
No, I said, Tamlin, sit down.
I think when I was reading that line, I was only thinking, poor Tamlin. Where is Tamlin? He is Rhysand. Get off of her. Because
where's Tamlin?
I was like, still Team Tamlin. So I wasn't shocked. But because you loved Rhysand from the beginning, I think you were like,
that was the first and only time that Rhysand gave me the ick. And let me tell you, to this day, I would let him do that to my tears. 100%. Knowing what I know now, I would allow that. But at that moment, I was like, oh, okay.
What is your second guess?
My second one is from Air of Fire. when Aelin's like deep in her, she's still Selena at this point, and she's deep in her depression. She's like, I don't have a will to live, and Rowan is like trying to train her, whatever, and he's like clearly just being like trying to give her the tough love, and he's like, you aren't worth fucking shit. Literally, no one loves you. You're absolutely worth it. And then he punches her in the fucking face, punches her, decks her. I'm like, what? What? I think I had to reread it, like, actually 4 separate fucking times to confirm that that's what just happened.
No,
I was like, did this man just literally verbally assault her and then physically assault her?
We actually
Like, what?
have footage of this, gasp, as well, because you were texting me while you were reading this live, and you were like, did this man just fucking punch her in the face?
In the face, just fucking, and I think that's like where the chapter ends, and then it's like, and then he punched me, and I was like,
But you know what's so messed up about both of these situations is that you end up loving both of these men in the end.
It's honestly something very tragic that I have yet to bring up in therapy, that Rowan is literally my cream of the crop of book boyfriend. If this man was a real life person, I would need to be put on like an FBI watch list, because that is the level of like obsession that I have with him.
Shit.
I think about him once a month. Rhysand was also up there for me, but then he was immediately dethroned by the face puncher. And I don't know what that says about me. I don't know. I don't want to know.
Actually, my throat hurts from laughing so hard at that, because I knew exactly what you were going to say. That was the shock of a lifetime.
It was so shocking. It was just one of those things again where I'm like thinking about the writers' like choices and like their placement of these things, and I'm like, why? That is one that I still cannot comprehend.
When we eventually get Sarah on this podcast, because she's going to actually have to come on to cover her PR tracks.
Truly.
She will explain to us why that was necessary. Because we are not team domestic violence here, Sarah.
No, we are so team Rowan, but we're not team that scene.
Like, can we get a rewrite? Oh my god, that's so funny.
Right.
Okay.
I think we have to wrap this up before I talk about Rowan for literally 4 more hours.
All right. So again, for the 7.5 followers that are watching to the end of this video right now, we are going to give you a very unique chance to answer our next question in the comments. So, you know, all of us podcasters... all of us very well-known, famous,
all of us completely unique podcasters
all have a little name for their followers, and we need a little bit of help deciding what you all want to be called. So we have some ideas in our head, and maybe we'll share that with you on another Q&A, but drop in the comments what you want us to call you, because we are all here for a little team effort.
That's right. And we'll be here same time, same place next Sunday. So bring your blankets, bring your book boyfriends, bring your laughs, and we'll see you later.
See ya.